Let's finish the year strong. Hey ladies, I'm back and this is the Mamas in Control podcast. I'm Heather Chauvin and we have a few weeks left of 2021. It's go time. So every single day you're going to hear a podcast from me. This podcast are tips, tricks, strategies, clips from inside of our mastery and our mastery business coaching experience. We talk about parenting. We talk about emotional health. We talk about managing our energy and our time. But more importantly, this is about how we show up in the world. We all know who we want to become. We know what we don't want in our lives. Therefore, we know what we do want in our lives. And sometimes figuring that out, that's where the magic happens. When we know how to master our fear, master our guilt, master our resistance, and not push through it. This is not about burnout. It's not about hustling. This is about showing up, shifting our identity and showing up in a way that feels aligned and alive with the life that we want to be living. Whether it's at home or in your career, you could work in corporate, you could be a business owner, whoever you are in the world, you are ready to make a bigger impact. You are ready to feel alive. So if you are somebody who's been following me for a while and waiting until we open the doors to our coaching programs, now is the time. We are doing our interviews for 2022 start dates. So head on over to heatherchauvin.com/mastery. Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/mastery. And if you are interested in our mastery business coaching experience, this is for women, professional women who are either trying to leave corporate and want to market their skills. You are a badass and you know you're good at it, but you just have no idea how to do marketing or sales. Check out our mastery business experience. That's Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/business. And maybe you have no desire to start a business, or maybe you don't own a business and you are just incredibly overwhelmed and you have no idea where to start. And the thought of entering a longer term program, whether it's 8 months with a big investment, feels really overwhelming to you. That's why this year we decided to open the doors for the first time ever publicly for our Mastery Jumpstart experience. This is a 2-month container of space helping you start to get the engine going, creating that momentum for you. So you get everything that we give our students inside of our mastery experience. You get a mentor, you get access to me, you get the modules, you get the live calls. And it's only 2 months, which means it's a fraction of the investment as well. So if you've been hanging out a while and you've been wanting to work with me, but you're like, holy crap, how am I going to make this happen? Now is the time. But here's the trick. The doors do close at the end of December, and we will not be opening them again for Mastery Jumpstart until the spring. So now is the time to join us and book that call. So head on over to Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/mastery. You have one life and so many opportunities to change the trajectory of how you feel and what your future looks like. Now is the time to take that action. heatherchauvin.com/mastery. Do not pass up this opportunity. Once the doors are closed, they will be closed until the spring. All right, let's dive into today's podcast. All right, everyone. So we are doing connections, collaborations, pitching. This is a win-win partnership. These are all about win-win partnerships in your business. So as we're having this conversation, we're putting this through the lens of business, as always, because you're here listening in Mastery Business. But I also want you to think about how this shows up in our own personal lives, because I was asking for target market research. I private messaged some of you on Voxer, and it was interesting the feedback that I was receiving, because I believe how we show up in one area of our life is typically transfers over in how we show up in another area of our life, right? How we're leading in one area and the other. And some of the questions were not even strategy focused. Most of the questions I received were fear-based or imposter syndrome of like, who am I, right? Who am I to show up? Or, oh, I could never do that. It's emotionally uncomfortable. So hopefully by now you've realized that I'm all about you being wildly emotionally uncomfortable. It's not hard to send an email, right? Even if someone gives you the template and you're like, copy, paste, right? Copy, paste. But as soon as you're about to hit send, that's when you want to vomit and shit your pants, right? So that's the feeling. I'm always like, poop emojis. You got to send me those poop emojis, because that is when you know that you're busting through your upper limit and you're growing and you're stepping into your brave zone and courage is happening. The other thing that I notice that people do is we tend to busy ourselves when you're upper limiting yourself. We love to say yes, 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 yes. And at the beginning, if you're like, I've never done a podcast, interview, or I've never done a partnership with somebody, you're going to be throwing those noodles at the wall and you're going to try to figure that out. But when you become a real business, and I'm using air quotes, right? Your focus and lens is this in alignment with my bigger goal and bigger vision? So I had a goal this year to get on 100 podcasts. Part of it was through my book launch. And I think we're at like 60 or something like that. And there were some random podcasts that I'm like, I could pivot my topic, right? And figure out how, but is my target audience listening to this podcast? And if it's, 60-year-old men, the answer is no. Like, they're not listening to my podcast. And I actually had an interview with somebody to get on their show. And he's like, my audience is executive level, corporate executives. And I said, well, I have corporate executive females that are clients. And he was like, I don't think they'll listen to you. And I was like, that's fine. The fact that you're showing up this way as a leader shows me that my people are not following you, right? So I was so grateful. I was like, that's fine. And he's like, well, don't take offense to it. And I was like, none taken. Think about how much time and energy you have given me back, right? Why have a conversation with somebody who is not an energetic match, right? So be just asking yourself, is this in alignment? And it's so freaking easy. It is so easy to reach out to people. Another thing I want to say is, today we're going to be talking about like where to find these people, how to come up with topics, like what is your focus, how to pivot, all of that stuff. And then after this conversation, we'll add some additional, resources for you that we may have access to so that you have everything that you need. The only thing you will not have is, somebody removing your emotional discomfort for you. That is your job to do that. But I'm going to really encourage you to dream bigger and to get yourself wildly uncomfortable.
My name is Deanna Clark, and you can find me at mammothpropertyfinder.com. I discovered Heather via her podcast. However, the first time I discovered Heather she was being interviewed on So Money, and everything she was saying was resonating with me. And then I learned she had her own podcast, and I started listening, and the rest was history. What has changed since I started the program? Like I said, I didn't know what a pain point was, and now I do. And I think that I understand the importance of marketing and really knowing what my why is in my business and who my perfect clients are. Getting really clear on that and getting clear on what separates me from any other realtor in my community. So I would say what has changed is I'm super clear on what experience I'm offering my clients, and also learning about them on a deeper level so that I can anticipate challenges that could come up or things that could get in the way of them getting their dream property. So I'd say that's pretty big. I don't really have anything to compare it to. However, what I've really enjoyed about Heather's program is the variety of live calls. They focus on different aspects of being an entrepreneur. So some of them are on being seen, marketing, and the other thing I've enjoyed is she really makes you fine tune what your focus is, and then there's accountability. And I would say the biggest bonus is the accountability piece. Once you decide you're going to do something in your business, you have a community around you that is checking in with you, and you are checking back in with them, making sure you're doing what you've set out to do. So I think you can sit around and talk about how you want to do this and that, but if you're not being held accountable, then the odds are pretty high it won't get done. So I would say that is a huge bonus to Heather's program for me personally. Heather, thank you for being you and for being honest and real. That is what attracted me to you. You are very gifted, and your ability to share your wisdom is incredible. And the fact that you are a real human being that has this incredible wisdom, I just think is just wonderful. And I'm so glad that you share this with the world. And I'm excited to spread the love of what you are teaching as well. So thank you.
Well, that's it. And I wanted to thank you for listening today because I truly believe you are exactly where you need to be. And now I have a favor to ask. In exchange for the value you've gained from this free podcast, I'd be forever grateful if you would leave us a review on iTunes. Share the show with at least one woman in your life who you feel would benefit, and or take a screenshot and share it on social media. And always feel free to tag me at Heather Chauvin. The world does not benefit from your guilt and fatigue. The world needs more women who are willing to unlearn everything they've been taught. Women who are courageous enough to feel good and not let guilt run the show. I believe you are that courageous woman. To see if my community and coaching is the right fit for you and your big vision, the relationships you desire, the money, time, energy that you know deep down you are capable of creating, then head on over to heatherchauvin.com/work with me. That's Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/work with me, and take the next step in the right direction. Taking a stand for how you feel means you are taking a stand for how your children show up as adults. And if you have a personal question or topic you'd like me to answer on the podcast, text me 313-710-5199. 313-710-5199. You are so worthy of feeling good. Now go do some scary shit.